The Legend of the Bone Sword RPG. This game is pretty dang old now, 8 years old, and we've kept everything pretty much the same since it came out. Since then, we've improved so much, and now, as it stands, the current version of this game sucks.
It's stupid and dumb and we hate it! So we're inviting you to come and squee with us.
No, we're not. So the first thing we decided to do was question the fundamentals. How could we make combat more interesting and less repetitive?
My problem with combat is that there was absolutely no feedback of any kind, and there really wasn't much to it. Sure, it might activate an ability sometimes or fire off a projectile, but that's still pretty boring and on the same format, so that's something we definitely wanted to improve on.
So the very first thing I did was I tried out something I've always wanted to do called hit stopping. The sword slash animation pauses just briefly when you make contact with an enemy.
Another huge thing with combat for me is there wasn't really much to it. Like maybe they'll like spawn a tornado or something, but they all had the same AI. They didn't really do anything special. It didn't really feel like a challenging fight, and this especially went for bosses.
So instead of making them just chase you in a straight line, we have them strafe left and right and take time and decide when to attack you.
Some enemies can even block your attacks, and you can also block enemy attacks.
Alright, moving on to the next part.
You see this bone sword? You can actually get this bone sword by pressing Alt F4 on your keyboard. Just try pressing Alt F4 on the keyboard, and you get a free bone sword. Free bone sword. Free Legend of the Bone Sword. Free.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, so now that the enemies are more interesting, what about the bosses? Well, we wanted to give all of the bosses unique attack patterns. Healing
spells
were pretty cheesy. You just use them and you get full health and you could pretty much just spam it, stay alive forever. So in this easy little game called Dark Souls, I remembered that you can use these flasks to heal you. They take a long time, so you really have to get to a safe spot so that you don't just get slashed in half. So, in Bone Sword, we're gonna copy that idea. Mr. Vini, how could progression be made less monotonous?
Hold on. As you guys know, the game is extremely grindy, so we've decided to change up the formula quite a bit in how you actually progress in the game.
Our attempt to fix this is that quests are going to be the main source of XP.
Hey, wait a minute! What's this guy talking about?
Well, level caps aren't quite as important as they used to be. There are these huge jumps in level between doors, but we want to remedy this. The current plan is for us to just make quests that give you XP that help you cross those gaps faster based on the areas that they're in. Feel free to let us know if you have any better ideas. This idea isn't quite finalized.
So you guys might also be dreading this simple thought that, oh, the game's gonna be completely remade, my data's gonna get wiped. What? You're not. You're gonna have all of your data. It's gonna be converted to our new format. You're gonna be able to see the game and play it from where you left off, but trust me, you're in for a whole new experience.
We're gonna have save files, so if you want to replay the game without losing all your other stuff but on the same account, you can just go ahead and make a new save file and play on the old one whenever you want. Nothing's getting wiped, just want to make that clear.
One massive big thing that's changing in this revamp is how items work. You're actually going to be able to level your item to gain new abilities and even more damage and different stats.
Speaking of upgrading these items, you're going to have an actual crafting line of progression, so you'll be able to use items to craft other items.
And adding on to what Mr. Chrythm just said, we're actually completely nearly removing RNG too.
God.
Enemies drop materials and you use those materials to craft. It's not like a really unfair thing because you can just grind now. It's not going to be you have to grind for like a million years to get one thing because of freaking RNG.
So basically, if you kill a guy and you need 5 of the guy's drops, say he drops an iron bar ingot. If you kill him, he will always get the same amount of whatever he drops.
1.
Iron bar ingot. If you need 5 of them, then you have to count 5 times.
For all you guys,
What?
listen to me, admin.
Who's this?
Thank you.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Another cool feature we're planning on adding is the ability to gain runes either from crafting or drops. These runes are going to be used, theoretically, to add passive abilities such as whenever you hit an enemy, it would set them on fire. These are definitely going to be quite rare to get, but these runes could allow you to have like fire and poison on a sword, which is supposed to be completely plain. Another thing adding into this is the elements for weapons. Now, this is a very interesting concept, and I definitely want to let Chrythm explain a bit more into this.
Oh yes, thanks, Winnie Man. I'm using that, by the way.
We're not.
Every item will be assigned an element. For the use of the item, the element doesn't actually mean anything, but when you do need an item with a given element, the use case will be clear.
These are going to have a very, very special use case. These are going to be unique puzzles that you can use to gain access to certain areas in the game.
For example, there is a lava lake and you need to get to the other side. You can't step foot in it, or your foot will be gone. So, you need an ice elemental item, and there is an interactable spot where you can use any ice item to summon an ice boat. A boat made of ice, how about that? Wow! All of the old item models, I mean, they're nostalgic, but I've seen them so many times in so many different games. They're not unique at all. So, I've hired my good friend, Disgruntled Skeleton, to remodel every item in the game, except for the ones that looked good already, that were custom made. And guess what? You can hire him too if you like what you see. That's right, if you like these models, you can order yourself your very own model of any kind, pretty much any kind, not everything, but pretty much anything, with materials, textures, materials, normal map, texture, whatever you want. It's great. Just go to
theweatherstation.info.
Or send an email to weatherstationmediarelations@gmail.com.
He will very much appreciate your business, so if you can send him some business, he will appreciate that.
Amazing.
Are you a Bone Sword player? Have you stopped playing the game? Well, look no further. Join our Discord, where you can meet other
Wonderful.
people.
You can also follow up with the sneak peeks that we send, so you can see it months in advance before the video comes out. You might be wondering, wasn't there an old Discord server called Starplex? You might even still be in there. And yes, that does exist, unfortunately, but it's been nuked. I just wanted to make note that there's a group of people that have been saying things every day. In fact, one of them, for 168 days as of this recording, has been saying something of Chrythm. I guess I appreciate
Next time on Bone Sword Devlog, Armor and Accessories Arc.
Join us next time for the next Bone Sword Devlog, Episode 2.
And that's how it's gonna end. Because it has to.
Episode 2. We're gonna fight these big ass spiders in the next one. We're out in the jungle.
That's gonna be so bad.
This is gonna take like a week to edit.
If you don't have a headache at the end of this, You're superhuman.